The most important of all is also the first one that he wrote back in 1997 when he set the direction of Amazon. In his shareholder letter, Jeff Bezos issued a manifesto called "It's All About the Long Term," where he laid out his approach to business and running Amazon. Quote, "We will continue to make investment decisions in light of long-term market leadership rather than short-term Wall Street reactions." In the second shareholder letter, he shares some insight into how the company managed to hire some of the brightest minds of the late 1990s. And by the way, this method is still used nowadays for hiring at Amazon. During our hiring meetings, we ask people to consider 3 questions before making a decision. Will you admire this person? Will this person raise the average level of effectiveness of the group they're entering? Along what dimensions might this person be a superstar? There are many ways to structure a business. It can be product-focused, technology-focused, business model-focused, and customer-centric focused. From the beginning, Amazon was clear into what they wanted to achieve here. They wanted to build world's most customer-centric company. Bezos would constantly remind employees to wake up every morning terrified. Not of the competition, but of Amazon's own customers. Customers are fickle. They are loyal to a company until a competitor offers a better service. Amazon designed its core value proposition around keeping customers happy by constantly offering more selection, better convenience, and lower prices. Bezos comes back to long-term thinking a lot, and in this shareholder letter he explains the difference between tenants of Amazon stock and owners. Owners are different from tenants. I know of a couple who rented out their house, and the family who moved in nailed their Christmas tree to the hardwood floors instead of using a tree stand. No owner would be so short-sighted. Similarly, many investors are effectively short-term tenants, turning their portfolios so quickly that they are really just renting the stocks that they temporarily own. Amazon worries more about fulfilling its mission than what their competitors are up to. One advantage, perhaps a somewhat subtle one, of a customer-driven focus is that it aids a certain type of productivity. When we are at our best, we don't wait for external pressures. We are internally driven to improve our services, adding benefits and features before we have to. We lower prices and increase value for customers before we have to. We invent before we have to. Jeff Bezos realizes that most decisions are reversible, and you can use this next advice in pretty much any facet of your life. Some decisions are consequential and irreversible or nearly irreversible, one-way doors, and these decisions must be made methodically, carefully, slowly. If you walk through and don't like what you see on the other side, you can't get back to where you were before. We call these type 1 decisions. But most decisions aren't like that. They are changeable, reversible, they're two-way doors. If you've made a suboptimal type 2 decision, you don't have to live with the consequences for that long. You can reopen the door and go back through. Type 2 decisions can and should be made quickly by high-judgment individuals or small groups. And finally, a reflection on high standards. Because while most people realize what high standards look like, there is a missing piece to this puzzle. To achieve high standards, you need to form and proactively communicate realistic beliefs about how hard something is going to be.